This was a tearful goodbye, and I think I've only cried when I left Effie once or maybe twice in the almost 3 years he's been here. But this was a tearful goodbye, and I'm trying to figure out why it was different this time. And I'm just gonna free associate while I drive to the airport. One thing I can't help but notice about Effie over the 16 plus years that he's been my son is that this awful curse called autism brings unpredictable patterns of behavior. And what I mean by that are a very odd behavior will rear its ugly head, and it will be pervasive just all the time for a few months, and as quickly as it came on, it goes away and it's replaced by another one equally as eccentric and nonsensical. You know, we all have weird habits. Some people go like this, and some people twirl their hair, and things we do without really realizing it because it's self-stimulatory in some way. But these behaviors that a kid with autism has are so pervasive and so overwhelming that it takes over everything. Effie went through a spitting phase for about 3 or 4 months when he was in like 3rd or 4th grade, and the teacher really was upset about this unacceptable behavior. Well, no kidding. And then it stopped. And then it just stopped. A year ago, he was going through a shoe on and off phase where he would just stop in his tracks, take his shoes off, take his socks off, put the socks back on, put the shoes back on. He did it walking through the streets of Manhattan. He held up people in the Empire State Building because he had to stop. The kids missed their subway train because he had to stop in the middle of everything, take his shoes off. And it was really messing up any plans that were made, because it just took so much time, interrupted what they were doing, what we were doing. There's other behaviors that just stay, that have been always, like rocking and vocal stimulation, vocal utterances. Those aren't going anywhere. It looks like recently he's got a behavior that is car refusal, where he won't get into certain cars, and sometimes he won't get out of certain cars, and you never know when that's going to be. So like when Bancroft was bringing him to Newark to meet me, they were late, which almost made me miss my flight because I was squeezing in that visit in a very small time frame. And it turned out they were 45 minutes late coming up there because they couldn't get him in the car. They eventually had to trade it out for a van. He's more used to the van. He got into the van. When I came up this time with a rental car, he wouldn't get into the rental car. Finally got him in. He put his tush on the seat, got right back out. The teacher came out to help me because she anticipated that this might be a problem. And finally we got him in the back seat. Usually he sits in the front. We got him in the back seat and put on the child lock, and once we got him in, we quickly shut the door. I didn't have a problem again getting him in the car this trip, but I did have trouble getting him out of the car because we went to a couple of places and he just would not get out. He just decided he wasn't going into the place. He wasn't even going to try it, even places he's been to many times before. And so there's this car refusal. Another thing we've got this time that I haven't seen in a while, but I do remember seeing this once in the past, for one period of time in the past, is that he's walking, stop, go back, do about face, and retrace the steps. It very much looks like an obsessive compulsive behavior. But, well, a lot of his behaviors look OCD. But it's very strange, and in this case it just stop, act, be like a statue, and then go back, 3 or 4 paces, stop, about face like a soldier, and then go back. And it's just like, I didn't do it right, so I got to do it again, or something like that. I think at one point it was the lines in the pavement and stuff like that, but this has no pattern in that way. It's just he has to turn around and go back. This time it didn't get in the way of too much. He did it constantly throughout the hotel, but once I realized that he's just backtracking and he's gonna come back to me, I didn't worry. I just waited for him to do it. I was concerned when he turned around and left that he was gonna take off, but that's not what it was. It was just he had to retrace his steps. So what I want to know is why. I want someone to explain to me why. There's gotta be a neurologist, psychiatrist, a neurosurgeon, a researcher. There's got to be teams of people in the CDC.
Exit left.
Sorry, that's my Waze. I have Cookie Monster telling me the directions because it makes me happy, and I have to find little things in my world to make me happy. That's one of them. Effie loved hearing Cookie Monster on the GPS. Anyway.
Quarter of a mile. Exit left. Cowabunga.
Gotcha. There's gotta be somebody who understands. How can autism be such a pervasive disaster, just something that's just sweeping through this country, through the world, and nobody understands it? That's not okay. We understand cancer, I think. We understand reproduction. The things that they do medically are unthinkable. We understand cardiac. The things they do with cardiac procedures are unthinkable. The brain, we have no idea. What is it in the brain that makes one like a broken record that's just skipping, that just gets stuck on something and just stuck over and over and over? Why? What is that? What are the neurons that are firing or not firing the way they're supposed to? What about language receptors? How does he not understand language? He understands if I say bring this here, put that there. What's that? It's an apple. What color is it? Red. He knows those things. But how about when I say I'm not going to be coming back for a month, and then he tries to follow me out the door? How come he doesn't understand simple things? There's got to be someone who knows, who can help us figure this out.